press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, so our discussion as usual has been going on with coordination chemistry. So we have done many discussions and we have reached the concept of crystal field theory approach, wherein we discussed various questions as well. Today we are starting one more branch of coordination chemistry called as organometallic compounds. These are also type of coordination compounds only, but if we want to define organometallic compounds, what exactly these are? Organometallic compounds are the compounds or the coordination compounds which contain at least one bond between metal atom and carbon. At least one bond between metal atom and carbon is present. Such a compound is called as an organometallic compound. As the name will tell, organometallic compounds in which metal is found attached to organic moiety or organic part. Now, this is a broad classification of organometallic compounds in which there is at least a single bond between metal and carbon. That bond can be a sigma bond or a pi bond, or it can even be sigma and pi bond. So there is no bar available in organometallic compounds of having which type of bond is available. So you can have a bond which is sigma bond or pi bond, or both bonds can be present between the carbon, donating atom is carbon, to the metal atoms. However, children, certain of the compounds which are like, we have the compound like NiCO4 times, it is tetracarbonyl nickel. Here you have a definite coordinate bond between carbon and nickel, but this does not fall in the class of organometallic compounds. Not only is it like carbon should be attached to the metal atom, but even if carbon is attached or carbon is bonded to an atom whose electronegativity is less than carbon, like what? You have an atom in the form of silicon, you got the atom in the form of arsenic, you got the atom in the form of boron. Even with these atoms, if carbon is attached, because these are metalloids to be precise, even if carbon is attached, they will show the properties of organometallic compounds. So organometallic. So even not only the D block elements, the metal atoms, you see here, metal is attached to the carbonyl, carbon is carbon because electron donation has occurred from carbon, but it does not fall in organometallic compounds, right? But the compounds like metalloids we have, this is a proper metal, but the metalloids like silicon, arsenic belongs to what? Nitrogen family, this belongs to what? Carbon family, boron belongs to itself only, its family only. So we have carbon bonded to these atoms, also their electronegativity difference is less than that of carbon. These impart also the properties of organometallic compounds. So metals can be usually from different types. They can be from main groups like S and P. You can have S and P block elements, or even you can have D and F block elements which are making organometallic compounds. Clear? So a general consideration to say is, children, that now if an organic moiety is present in a compound, that means carbon containing moiety is present. Carbon containing moiety is present, but there is no bond, not a single bond existing between carbon and the metal atom directly, then it does not fall in the class of organometallics. Like we have boron, then you can have O, CH3, thrice. Now you see here, boron will be under sp2 hybridization and link is via oxygen to carbon, correct or not? So this does not fall in the category of what? Organometallic compounds. However, if you have a compound like boron, then you got CH3, then you have OCH3 twice. This compound will fall in the class of organometallics or organometallic compounds. because at least one bond is present between boron and carbon here. You can see that boron and carbon, one bond is existing here. So children, on the general scale, if you look onto the D block elements like diethyl zinc C2H5Zn, diethyl zinc, this will fall in the class of what? Organometallic compounds, because carbon directly attached to zinc and it will show the properties of organometallic compounds. Simple way, or even Grignard's reagent RMgX, right here, magnesium, a metal atom. This is from which block? P block is attached to a methyl group, suppose, and attached to the halogen on the other side. This is again a part of organometallics, right? Oh, clear or not? But magnesium, D is not involved here at all, but principal quantum number for magnesium is 3, so D may be involved. D can be used for the bond formation, but D can provide orbital for the bond formation if need arises. But mostly we look for D block elements in organometallic compounds. So generally children, organometallic compounds are the atoms or are the compounds which are made by the carbon moiety containing elements like carbonyl carbons, or which are in interaction with the central metal atom and donating out the electrons to the central metal atom respectively. Am I clear? So even as I mentioned, silicon, arsenic or boron, their electronegativity is less than they are metalloids technically. They are not proper metals, they are metalloids, right? So being metalloids, their properties are similar to that of organometallic compounds as well. So they also fall in the class of organometallics. Am I clear? So general definition that I mentioned over here, which contain at least one bond between carbon and metal atom. Clear or not? Now generally when you see children, classification when you do, there are two classes of organometallic compounds. Organometallic compound, there are two classes of this based upon the side group present. We have simple organometallic compounds, I will write organometallic compounds as OC, and we have complex organometallic compounds. Let me classify these two. What is meant by simple and complex organometallic compounds? Right children, let's have a look. Now, have a look on what exactly does simple organometallic compound mean. In simple organometallic compounds, what happens is, we have a metal atom. This metal atom is attached to, say, carbon directly, and one of the valency of this metal atom is completed by a simple atom like hydrogen, or there is no atom except those carbon atoms are attached to the metal atom itself. Like I'll talk an example. Suppose we have tetramethyl silicon we have. In this case, silicon is attached with 4 methyl groups, right? So there is no side, no valency of this silicon is completed by either hydrogen atom, or there is no hydrogen atom present. There is no atom with the silicon itself present. So these are called as simple organometallic compounds. Means the valency is either completed by what? Either valency is completed by hydrogen, or the valency is just left as such. Like we have the molecules like Pb, we have lead, yes, then attached to hydrogen, you got here CH3 3 times. Now hydrogen is replacing one of the valencies, so either hydrogen is replacing or there is no other atom replacing the valency of that particular atom itself. Suppose if the valency of that particular atom, say boron is there, its valency is 3. If one is covered by hydrogen and other is covered by the methyl groups, example I am talking about, then this will be like a simple organometallic compound for us. So if this is not completed itself at all, like we have CH3 thrice boron, then this will again be a simple organometallic compound, because valency is not completed by any other element except the organic commodity. Clear? What exactly does mixed mean? Mixed means when one of the valency is completed by some other atom, like Grignard's reagent, or say CH3, we got Mg, and then it is followed by X, which can be halogen, right? It's a halogen, chlorine, fluorine, or bromine, so on and so forth. So besides having carbon moiety attached to the central metal atom, if one more valency is completed by any other atom, not only halogen, it can be any other atom, a complex atom, an atom different than that of hydrogen, then such are called as complex organometallic compounds. So this is one classification of organometallic compounds on the basis of the groups attached to the metal atom. Clear? One more classification that we have, children, which is very important to understand. One more classification that we have with respect to organometallic compounds is on the basis of the nature of the nature of the bonds. On the basis of nature of the bonds. Organometallic chemistry. So second classification we can do on the basis of nature of metal and that ligand bond, and presently in the present case that the ligand that we have is carbon with the metal atom, or you can have the different other atoms also available to it, but what is the nature of that Ml bond in that organometallic compound respectively. Clear? On the basis of that we have three different classifications. First one is sigma bonded organometallic compounds. Sigma bonded organometallic compounds, wherein the bond existing between the two atoms is a sigma bond. That's very simple to understand. Usually this type of complexes are made by main group elements like S and P block elements with the ligands. Say we have a complex as diethyl zinc. So we have zinc, it is attached to C2H5 and it will be attached to C2H5. So if you analyze this, children, you have zinc, you have it bonded to what? Carbon here, and this one is also bonded to what? Carbon here. Now when you look on this bond existing between the two is what bond? Sigma bond. It's a sigma bond. It's not a coordinated bond, keep it in mind here, right? So it's a sigma bond. Here bond existing between metal, not between the ligand, metal and carbon. What is the bond existing between the metal and carbon? Nature of that. So here the bond is sigma. Now in this case, carbon is more electronegative than zinc. So the bond between metal atom and carbon, in this bond, this metal will be delta plus and carbon will be delta minus charged. So there is polarity in the bond, right? Having polarity in the bond, it is solubility, properties, physical properties, it is boiling and melting points, and other chemical properties will keep on varying. Are you getting my point here? Now looking on this, it will be delta plus technically, because two negative, they will be taking electrons. So on the whole, when it breaks, it will be giving you Zn2 plus itself. So zinc under +2 oxidation state in this. Organic moiety has got what charge on it? -1. Now this is sigma bonded organometallic compound. I gave many examples a while earlier also. Si, CH3 4 times, right? Or Si, CH3 thrice, H, nature of silicon and carbon bond. Again, carbon will be delta minus, silicon will be delta plus charge. So there is polarity in the bond existing between the molecules here, right? And even these sigma bonds can be dimer formation, like if you have done it P block elements, the dimer formation dimer formation like Al2Cl6 molecules are developed. Dimerization of the molecules comes into play. Here also you can see there are many other sigma bonded complexes where dimer formations do come into play. Am I clear? Very good. Now these are, you can write down various examples of sigma bonded organometallic compound. The conclusion to reach is different. Now this is basic thing that you already know out in basic discussions as well. One more classification that we have for these organometallic compounds are pi bonded organometallic compounds. This is important. Pi bonded organometallic compounds. One of the class of sigma bonded organometallic compounds, as I mentioned out here. Pi bonded organometallic compounds. Keep it in mind, organometallic complexes do not exist in nature. They are not existing. However, lab preparations can be done. Pi bonded organometallic compound in which carbon is linked to metal atom, but the link of carbon with the metal atom is by the pi bond. You need to understand the number of carbon atoms attached to metal atom is represented by eta. Like one of the physically prepared organometallic compound first in the lab, where from this organometallic study started was Zeiss salt. And technically, what is the formula of that Zeiss salt? It is platinum Cl3 C2H4. Charge of the complex is minus. So you got Pt Cl3 C2H4, charge of the complex is minus. Now when you name it, this compound, you will write it like this actually. You will write it Pt Cl3, then bracket neta 2 C2H4, bracket closes, minus 1. Now I said eta represents the number of carbon atoms which are linked to the central metal atom by which bond? Pi bond. And naturally, whenever there is pi bond, we should have and we will have more than one carbon atom present in the organic moiety, the organic compound. Yes. So in Zeiss salt, you have C2H4. You have technically an alkene molecule. So if you draw the diagram for this, children, it will be Pt, platinum. It's under +2 oxidation state because it is -1, already minus charge is there, it will be +2. So you have naturally a coordinate bond with chlorine, then you have one more coordinate bond with chlorine, then you have one more coordinate bond with chlorine, then you got CH2 double bond CH2, and it is this pi bond with which this molecule CH2 is held with what? Chlorine. So technically when you look on the pi bond, you have some charge on the plate. Now how is this pi bond held with this? It is the pi orbital overlaps with the empty d orbital of the platinum and is able to what? Make a side-on overlapping with the d orbital of what? Platinum, resulting in the formation of a pi linkage between the two. So there are 3 sigma bonds which are coordinate bonds here, and there are 2 carbon atoms directly attached to the platinum. So that's why we write it neta 2. So name of this complex will be as such, what? Trichloro, then ethylene. It's a direct neta 2 group. So in front of that you have to write neta 2 because it is held with the central metal atom by how many carbon atoms? 2 carbon atoms. To make it more precise, we can break it off, and then the bond formation between CH2 and platinum will be occurring like this. There are no 5 bonds. These are 2 half bonds. So total, the number of ligand surrounding is only 4, but the number of carbon atoms which are held with the metal atom are 2. As I said, the electron distribution from the pi orbital occurs to the d orbital of platinum. So this is bond formation between the two. So this is what bonded? Pi bonded. It's a general pi bonded organometallic compound. We have some pi bonded organometallic complexes which are made in such a way that the ligand system is technically the organic moiety, the carbon containing parts, the carbon containing parts of that organometallic compound will be present like a bread around a sandwich. A sandwich is made, in between you will have a metal atom, around it you will have 2 different organic moieties attached to it. I'll take, those are all the examples of pi bond organometallic compound. I'll take some examples from that as well, children, so that you can understand it. Keep it in mind, this class of this classification is on the basis of what? On the basis of what? The nature of metal and carbon bond. We are not bothered about the other coordinate bonds here. We have a complex like this, children. bis cyclodienyl. Bis, keep it in mind. What's a group? Bis cyclopentadienyl iron. Bis cyclopentadienyl iron. If you want to write a general name for it, it will be Fe. Understand it? What's a metal element I have used here? Fe. Then you will have Neta 5 C5 H5 twice. Bis cyclopentadienyl. If I want to make the name more clear now, what I will write? Bis, then Neta 5, because this is twice cyclopentadienyl iron. Cyclopentadienyl group's oxidation state is -1. I will show you by diagrammatic analysis. It's -1. So total number of electrons to be lost should be 2, because there are 2 cyclopentadienyl groups. Oxidation state of iron will be 2. Bis Neta 5 cyclopentadienyl iron, oxidation state of iron will be 2. This will be the name. Now the name itself indicates bis. Neta 5 is twice. You can see that. C5H5 is twice. Cyclopentadienyl group will be made how? This is cyclopentane. You have hydrogens everywhere. So if one hydrogen is removed, what's the charge coming into play here? There's a negative charge coming into play. So the formula becomes C5H5. C5H5. Then it is how many times? Faster. It's how many times? Or tell me fast. You have a double bond structure, you have a lone pair of electron at alternate positions, resonance can come into play. Correct or not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 hydrogen, 2, you got 3, you got 4, you got 5. So C5H5, we have a negative charge on this. There is no double bond, means one hydrogen has been removed, a negative charge comes into play here. Then we have iron. Then again we have hydrogen and a negative charge will be here. I'll not mention that here. Then these all carbon atoms are interacting with this iron by means of what? What linkages? Pi linkages. So this is also called as ferrocene. Ferrocene. So you can see that here iron is a sandwich. So not iron is not a sandwich. We can see here that iron is present between the two cyclopentadienyl groups. And all the carbon atoms are interacting with iron by what linkage? Pi linkage. Remember that. When there is a pi linkage, only pi linkage existing between these groups, not any sigma linkage. So breaking making becomes easier. When you look on the molecules, you will find out the rotations are easily accessible between iron. So molecules will be rotating out like this. So this is a sandwich complex. So you understood what is meant by Neta 5 here? Neta 5 means from each of this pentadienyl group, there are 5 carbons linked directly to the metal atom itself. Right? Are you getting it or not? So this is what nature of MC bond. So here bond is what? Again pi bond is there, right? And the number of pi bonds are more, so we are writing Neta 5 means iron metal atom is attached to that organic moiety by how many pi bonds? 5 each. So bis we have written already. So the name is bis Neta 5 cyclopentadienyl iron 2. General name of this complex is also ferrocene. If you want to calculate for this one, if you want to calculate its oxidation state also, you will be able to do that also. Now the number of electrons donated from each place are how many from here and here. You will find out the effective atomic number for this will be again 36. Oh, clear? See here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are pi bonds here. Look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's interacting with pi bonds. So how many pi bonds are there? 3. Here also how many pi bonds? 3. So how many electrons will be interacting on the whole? 12. Iron is what? 20. 6 plus 12 is 38. But iron is under what oxidation state? 2. So total we can write down effective atomic number of iron 2 plus will be 24. Coordination number will be almost 12, means the number of electrons donated will be 12. Oxidation state is 2. After oxidation state is 2. So that makes it 36. Effective atomic number is perfectly valid in ferrocene. Hope you are getting the point clear. Iron oxidation state is 2. 26 minus 2, 24. Plus how many pi bonds are there? 1, 2, 3 pi bonds and 3 pi bonds here. Total number of electrons interacting will be total 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6, 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 6 is equal to 12. So 12 electrons will be interacting. Thus coordination number is in this case pi bonded coordination number, but the effective atomic number will be 12 itself. Keep it in mind, electrons are not being donated to the central matter. Pi overlapping has come into play. Yes, that's why the moment is easily accessible. One more complex children we have, which is again an pi bonded organometallic compound only, that is dibenzene chromium. Dibenzene chromium. So what's it? C6H6. Yes. Then Cr. It is twice. So when you look on the benzene, how will the structure analysis be? This is benzene. Right? We can have pi bond and pi bond. Then in the middle chromium. Again we got one more benzene, pi bond and pi bond. Interaction between these on the whole. So how many carbon? 6. So it will be eta 6. What's the name here? Again bis eta 6 benzene. Total number of rings attached is 6 chromium. Oxidation state of chromium will be 0. It's quite easy to name this compound up. This is one way of representing it. Other way of representing it will be same. We can write like this. Chromium. All the carbons interacting. All the carbons interacting. Again, we have a sandwich complex. Again, we got a sandwich complex. Again, what's the name I said? Dibenzene chromium. What type of complex is it? So again, chromium atomic number is 24. Oxidation state in this case is 0. 24 plus 12 is 36. So effective atomic number will be Z minus oxidation state plus coordination number, that is 12. So here it is 24 plus 12. That makes it directly 36. So in case of dibenzene chromium, in case of dibenzene chromium, and it is neta 6, but in front of it there will be word bis. Why? Because benzene is how many times? 2 times existing there. Correct? Again a neutral system interacting, but pi bonded organometallic compound itself. Now we have one special class of organometallic compounds in which there is existence of both sigma and pi bonds. And because there is existence of both sigma and pi bonds, we call those as sigma and pi bonded organometallic complexes. Sigma and pi bonded organometallic compounds. Metallocarbonyls are one of the examples of sigma and pi bonded organometallic compounds. This is one of the examples of sigma and pi bonded organometallic complexes. We have done many examples in our polynuclear complexes naming, like we have a complex like decacarbonyl dimanganese, decacarbonyl dimanganese 0. Even we can have a complex like pentacarbonyl iron 0. We are not giving any oxidation state to the molecule here at all, because it's a carbonyl carbon attached to the central metal atom. And we know carbonyl carbon's oxidation state is 0. And if it is polynuclear, like this one, dimanganese, if it is polynuclear, means more than one central metal atom is present. Of same or different type, that's a different thing. Then bridging can come into play. Like we have the complex of Fe2CO9. Fe2CO9. Now when you look on the structure of these, or you have the rings like I said a while earlier, NiCO4 does not fall in the class of organometallic compound because this does not show the properties of organometallic compounds. Pentacarbonyl iron oxidation state, we know hybridization will be DsP3 for this. Here, when you look on decacarbonyl dimanganese, in this case, manganese is directly linked to manganese. There is no bridge between the two at all. And then there are 5 carbonyl carbons attached to one manganese, including manganese, that makes it 6. 5. So each manganese is under the hybridization of sp3d2, or you can talk about d2sp3, because the total number of bonds made by each manganese are 6. So each manganese is geometrically held by these carbonyl carbons in an octahedral geometry. That means around manganese the ligands arranged in the space are in octahedral shape. Similar way around this manganese, there is no bridge between the two existing at all. But why did I mention that metal carbonyls are the example of sigma and pi bond organometallic compounds? Let us do pentacarbonyl iron. So it will be iron pentacarbonyl. We can have a look. Iron atomic number is 25 3d 6 4s2 26 atomic number. Oxygen state is 0 3d 5 4s2 1 2 3 4 5. Total electrons are 8 1 2 3 4 5 6. Why? Because pentacarbonyl means what? FeCO5. This is a strong field ligand. So pairing will occur. 6 electrons gone, 7 and 8. Because it's a strong field ligand, these electrons will be paired up or not. Once they are paired up, 1d will get free. So hybridization will be DsP3. And we know when there is DsP3, what is the general shape of the molecule? What's the general geometry of the molecule? Trigonal bipyramidal, right? So we will draw that. We got iron here, one here, and one here. Now one will be above the plane and one will be below the plane. So this is triangular bipyramidal shape has come into play. Clear or not? So what's a hybridization? DsP3. Again metal carbonyl, because the electron donation has occurred from where? Carbon to the metal atom. I'll explain certain important cases with respect to this after some time. Now looking on this case, children, and when you look on Fe2CO9, in this compound, it's again, you can see many examples of organometallic compounds, right? But the discussion with respect to organometallic compounds is very brief given to you, but we cannot do that. As I mentioned out, I have been discussing organometallic compounds, and this type of organometallic compound, that is carbonyl carbon containing groups, are what? Sigma and pi bonded organometallic compounds. And we already know CO is the strongest ligand present in the coordination chemistry for us, right? Now look on that Fe twice CO 9 times. How the group is arranged? Have a look, children. It is iron, then there are carbonyl carbon, then there is carbonyl carbon, then there is carbonyl carbon. Similar way, other iron also, there is carbonyl carbon, there is carbonyl carbon, there is carbonyl carbon. Now how many carbonyl carbons are left out? 3. And those 3 carbonyl carbons are held as a bridge between the two. So if you want to name this, what will be the name? Name will be tri-mu carbonyl. Then this is once bis tricarbonyl iron. Oxygen state is 0. Tri-mu, tri because 3 bridges are there, carbonyl because bridge is made by the carbonyl carbon. Then FeCO it's once, FeCO is twice. Correct or not? So what will be the name? Tri-mu carbonyl bis tricarbonyl iron 0. This is the name that you can give to the compound. Alright, or you can also name one compound as octacarbonyl dimanganese. How? That structure I have already told you a while earlier. Mn2CO10, that is decacarbonyl dimanganese. If it is Fe2CO8, then it is octacarbonyl diiron 0. That way also you can name the compound. Am I clear? Now in this case, children, in all these metal carbonyls, there is one important effect working called as synergistic effect. Now let me explain what exactly we want to say in metal carbonyls, how the bonding comes into play. Suppose we have iron which is bonded to the carbonyl carbon, which is C triple bond O. Right? So here we have total number of electrons, so donation of electron has occurred here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there will be one electron pair on oxygen, that's why it can act as a bridging ligand here. And then a lone pair of electron of 1, 2, it has made use of only 2 of its electrons. Lone pair of electrons is donated to iron. Similar way is with every iron atom. Now, because iron or any other metal atom is providing d orbitals for the accommodation of electrons which are coming from carbon. Remember this thing, that because we have proved it yesterday also, carbonyl carbon or Cn minus, both of these contain antibonding orbital in terms of pi star 2px, pi star 2py and sigma star 2pz, which are vacant. These antibonding orbitals are vacant. And when the electron donation from carbonyl carbon occurs to the metal's d orbital, making what bond? Sigma bond. Due to the donation of electrons, there is increased electron density on the iron. So what iron usually does is, what will iron do here is, iron will donate or distribute out some of its electron cloud to the antibonding orbital. So carbonyl carbon is donating its electron pair, which will be present in pi orbital, but bonding orbital, pi bonding orbital, donated electrons to the iron. This is providing the orbital to pi star. So here there is a sigma bond made, and this side there will be a pi link developed by iron with a carbon. So we can say that carbon is making a bond with the metal atom, which is sigma, but metal atom at the same time is making a bond with the carbon, which is a pi bond. So between central metal atom, between carbon and metal atom, the double bond character comes into play. When two different substances work for a same goal, we call that as synergistic effect, because both are responsible for strengthening the bond between carbon and metal atom. As a result of that, this triple bond will not exist here at all. Once the double bond comes into play, triple bond is lost out. So children, the bond existing in metal carbonyls will be of this order: M double bonded to carbon, which is double bonded to oxygen. And even spectroscopic studies show that in carbon triple bond oxygen, bond length, and in carbon bonded to the metal atom, carbon bonded to the metal atom, which is bonded to the oxygen, bond length, it is varying. Bond length of unbonded carbonyl carbon, bond length of unbonded carbonyl carbon is less compared to carbonyl carbon. It's almost 1.30, and this becomes smaller bond length, this becomes larger bond length. So it is 1.15, it becomes almost 1.30, because there is a double bond character coming to play between the two. So there is a donation of electron from bonding pi orbital as a lone pair of electron to the central metal atom, and central metal atom donates its electron pair as a pi bond for distribution to the antibonding orbitals of CO. As a result of that, what will happen? This metal atom, bond between metal atom and carbon in metal carbonyls, not only metal carbonyls, whichever the atom attached to the metal atom is able to provide pi orbitals, antibonding orbitals, provide orbitals to the metal atom for the donation of electrons, distribution of electrons, such a ligand will act as a strong ligand. And that is why these carbonyl carbons or any atom which is able to accept the electron pair are called as pi acceptors, or we call these also as pi acids. So here I have already told you, donation is usually from where? Metal to ligand to metal. But here electrons are donated from metal to ligand. So we call that as back bonding. So there is a sigma bond formation, there is a pi bond formation. Due to that, bond lengths are also altering, and as a result of that, stability will also definitely alter. So these metal carbonyls, children, are also one of the examples of organometallic compounds. But here, these types are the examples of sigma and pi bonded organometallic compound. Everyone be clear with this. Usually, organometallic compounds will be solid. Organometallic compounds are extremely good and essential used in analytical chemistry and also in coordination chemistry, like they are used for analysis purposes itself. Melting and boiling points are high. They do develop colors, and you can understand that in presence of ligands, breaking will occur in other systems, as we have discussed out in our previous classes. Did you get it or not? So this is a brief discussion with respect to organometallic chemistry. So we have two different types of organometallic compounds, simple and mixed. And we have three different classes in terms of the nature of the bond between metal atom and ligands. And what are those? We have sigma bonded, we have pi bonded, and in pi bonded we have two classes, like we represent those by neta. Neta means the number of carbon atoms linked by a pi bond to the central metal atom. Am I clear with this thought, children? Excellent. Have a look on this properly. Analyze these things very well. Right? So, we reached a conclusion that whenever any ligand is able to provide the orbitals for the acceptance of electrons from the metal atom, then such ligands have the tendency to make a double bond character between metal and ligand. Due to that, bond strengthening will occur, and that will also affect crystal field separating energy as well, children. Because if the ligand is able to approach central metal atom very closely, if it approaches central metal atom to the highest extent, to the closest possible extent, the stability will be enhanced, but crystal field separating will increase. Correct or not? We have done this out. Right. Write down some questions, children. So we'll solve some questions with respect to crystal field theory. Clear or not? Yes. We have a complex Cr, Cn6, 3 minus. Calculate all properties using crystal field theory. Calculate all properties using crystal field theory. First of all, we know Cn is -1, 6 electrons are needed, 3 complex has already gained. Oxidation state of chromium will be +3. So chromium +3 oxidation state will mean electronic configuration of 3d3. Correct or not? Strong ligand or weak ligand has come into play. Strong ligand. Yes. So in presence of strong ligand, it will be T2G, it will be Eg. So we'll calculate 3 electrons. All the electrons will go to which set? T2G set, no electron in Eg. So children, magnetic moment, root 15. How many ampere electrons? 3. So root of 3 into 3 plus 2, that is root 15. Electronic configuration, it is T2G, this is Eg. Electronic configuration, T2G3, Eg0. Now, inner field or outer field? Inner field. It will be high spin, but inner field, because Eg set is completely free. So this will be inner field complex. Low spin or high spin, it will be high spin. Although the ligand is very strong, still high spin because electronic configuration is different. It's a high spin complex. Hybridization is D2sp3. And what about crystal field stabilization energy? That will be minus 0.4 into 3. No electron in Eg, no pairing. Of delta 0, that is minus 1.2 of delta 0 will be crystal field splitting energy. This will be given in terms of centimeter inverse. We can convert it this later. So this will be CFSE. So these are all the characteristics, or these are all the properties with respect to this ligand system that we have calculated here. Am I clear with this thought here? Very good. Let's write one more question, children. We have a complex Cu NH36 Cu NH36 plus Cu NH3 plus 6. What is hybridization, spin state, magnetic moment, and crystal field stabilization energy for this complex? Solve it, children. Solve it quickly. Question is given. What is hybridization, spin state, magnetic moment, and crystal field stabilization energy for this complex? You can do it. Yes. Simple. So if I use CFT for it, crystal field theory for it. First, if I use VBT for it, and if I use crystal field theory for it. VBT, copper is 3D9, 3D10, 4s1, right? Lost 1 electron. Ammonia is 0, lost 1, it will be 3D10, correct or not? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be our 4s. 1, 2, 3, this will be 4p. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this will be 4d. Now you got 11 electrons, 1 has been lost, so Cu plus will be 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All will be paired because 5 orbitals will accommodate all 10 electrons. Then there is no d orbital free. So a while earlier, this was the question, this is inner field or outer field? This is inner field. Here, so all the d orbitals have been used up. No d orbital from 3d is free. Now the number of ligands coming are 6 according to VBT. The total number of ligands incoming is equal to the hybridizer orbitals provided. So hybridization will be sp3d2. These orbitals will come and make sp3d2 orbitals. How many? 6 orbitals of sp3d2 nature will be made. Magnetic moment will be 0 because no unpaired electron. This is outer field complex, right or not? This is definitely low spin or spin paired, we call that as. So there is no unpaired electron here at all. Magnetic moment will be 0. Now if I use crystal field theory for it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 10 electrons. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pairing will occur. 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, hybridization will be sp3d2. Magnetic moment will be again 0. So there are certain regions where VBT, valence bond theory, and crystal field theory are not able to differentiate with respect to each other. This has to be modified out, and one more new theory was put forward, which is ligand field theory. Slight modification, but the main postulates of LFT and CFT are same. And the last best theory that explains bonding in coordination compounds to perfection is molecular orbital theory. Correct? And we have already studied that molecular orbital theory arrangements in our first year chemical bonding chapter. That is molecular orbital theory. Clear or not? Right? Excellent. So this is the general discussion with extensive questioning that we have done for coordination compounds. In our next class, children, we will take some typical 8 to 10 or 12 different problems, and we will try to work on to those in one class, so to be clear with all different types of concepts with respect to coordination systems. Am I clear or not? So that will deal in our next class. Am I clear? Right. So have a look on this organometallic chemistry. You need not to dig deeper for organometallics much more than that. Whatever organometallic chemistry, the interactions and the things that are needed, I have already discussed those here, right? And you can have one additional work for yourself, properties of organometallic compounds and uses of organometallic compounds. You can read that at home, right, children? Fine, that's your homework, so you can do it at your home. Fine, thank you.